Hi, this is Sayonjita. Welcome to my channel where you will find simple and efficient ways to make a wide range of Indian foods, vegetarian and non-vegetarian. Many are basic ingredients that are extensively used in other dishes, like today's dish, Birista or crisp fried onions. These are typically used in Mughlai and Kashmiri cuisine in dishes like Rogan Josh and biryani, as a garnish and in the gravy base. Traditionally, birista is made by air drying sliced onions for a couple of days and then deep frying them. These steps are not always practical. My method avoids both but yields crisp onions just the same. I've also given some shortcuts and tips that you can take along the way. There's a lot to do, so let's get cracking. I have 3 cups of hand sliced onions. A food processor makes them too fine and quite wet. At least mine does. And that won't work. Remove any irregular and thick pieces and slice them fine or use them in some other dish. I'm going to dry out the onions in the microwave and in the pan. 2 ways that are quicker and more practical than air drying. Drying the onions removes their moisture and reduces the volume, thereby reducing cooking time and the amount of oil required. I'm going to do 2 cups in the microwave and 1 cup on the stove. Flatten the onions into a single layer and microwave on high for 6 to 7 minutes. The actual time will depend on your microwave and the amount of moisture in your onions. In the meantime, we can deal with the 1 cup that will be dried on the pan. Set the pan to heat. You can use the same one that you will use later. Spread the onions in a single layer. Toss around to remove the moisture, but do not let them brown. About 3 to 4 minutes. Turn off the gas and let them stay for a few minutes on the hot pan to wilt. These are the microwaved ones. And these are the pan-dried ones. The onions will have reduced to about 2/3 their original volume at this point. Now we can get started with frying them. The pan is hot. Add enough oil to cover the whole surface of the pan. I need 5 tablespoons, but you may need more if your pan is bigger. There is no way you can deep fry all these onions in 5 tablespoons of oil. And as you will see later, that a substantial amount of the oil will come out at the end. I have started a timer just for reference. The heat must be medium-high or high initially. Add the onions when the oil is hot. And spread them in a single layer. Leave the onions undisturbed until they brown at the bottom. This will take a little while. So this is a good time to talk about the shortcuts you can take depending on the usage of the birista. Birista is used as a gravy thickener and a flavor enhancer, or as a garnish. The one used for garnish must be perfect, crisp and golden. And typically this is not needed in large quantities. So you can take some pains over this. The ones used in gravies like Korma or Rogan Josh or even biryani are usually needed in larger quantities, but they are not visible. They are used in crushed form or they just dissolve in the gravy. You can compromise on the crispness somewhat over here. Main intention here is to get the flavor and the color. As I keep talking, you can see the progression of the onions. I have not cut or speeded up the video in any way. I have just flipped over the onions as they are browning on the bottom. The oil is starting to come out of the onions now. There should be this much oil for the onions to get nice and golden and crisp. Flip them over from time to time to allow for even heating. This is an additional step you have to do for pan frying. For deep frying, there's plenty of oil, and so you don't need to do any flipping, you just monitor it in the oil itself. At this point, you don't need to stand and look over the onion. You can be doing something else in the kitchen and check on them every so often. Another tip, if you need to make a large quantity, like more than this, or you have a few days before you need it, like you're making biryani over the weekend, you can make about a cup of birista every day and then just store it. This is much faster because 1 cup won't even take 15 minutes to make, and it will not be such a burden to do this. And if you absolutely don't have the time, then you're better off deep frying if you have a large quantity. In either case, do dry them out in the microwave or on the pan as we have done earlier. Incidentally, the same principle can be used to make crispy fried okra or bitter gourd or eggplant. Note, red onions will be darker in color. If you want golden birista, use white onions. Now it's time to lower the heat because the onions will cook rapidly and may burn on a high heat. Move the onions that are still white to the hottest part of the pan. These stainless steel pans retain heat for a long time, so the onions will continue to fry for a couple of minutes after turning off the flame. Keep that in mind when you turn it off. It's been about 10 minutes and I've turned off the gas. Let them rest there for a couple of minutes and then we shall drain off the oil. So here I have kept a cutting board slanting and I'm placing the pan with the Birista on the board. The Birista was in the pan for 2 minutes or so and it's still sizzling. Move all the onions to the top. The onion and the pan are still hot, so the oil is trickling down, as you can see. But you can help it along by pressing down on the onions. A few onions on the spatula are still white, and I have to make sure they don't go in or they'll soften the rest of the onions. It's been a little more than 2 minutes since we drained the oil. Now we can take the Birista out. I'm going to put it on this dish lined with paper towel to drain out all the remaining oil. It is still warm, so it will be soft. And you want to make sure you don't cover it to allow it to air dry and become crisp. Now I'm going to take the oil out of the pan. This is a 1 tablespoon measure. I have taken out about 2 to 2.5 tablespoons out of 5. If you're continuing with your gravy or biryani or whatever it is, you can use this oil in that, or you can choose to dispose of it. The Birista has cooled completely and you can see and hear how crispy they are. Store in an airtight container. They will get soft when you keep them in the fridge. Just microwave for 30 seconds and let cool. They will become crisp again. I hope you found this video useful. If so, do like it and share it with your friends. give me your feedback and requests in the comment section below. Please subscribe so I can continue to provide you content like this. Until next time, thank you and happy cooking.